This is TWiT.
Killer wireless xTend technology. And their idea is that they're going to allow you to turn your gaming PC or your laptop, or in theory, this laptop I'm running on right now, which has killer wireless inside of it, into an extension or a wireless extender. And thanks to basically the network prioritization, it's kind of the foundation of Killer's technologies, that you will do it without having a penalty on performance. So essentially, they're calling it mesh network capabilities, using the Killer Wireless AC1550 Wi-Fi module to, quote, seamlessly clone and extend the home network. So I'm kind of curious about that, and I want to check. Let me check, because I've got an XPS 13 inside of this, and according to my friend, the device manager, I've got a 1535. Drat. So close.
I think
15 off.
15 points off, whatever that happens to mean. This is one of the things that Rivet and the Killer Network group, they've always had an uphill battle, right, of trying to sell added features or performance or capability for networking, because networking is one of those things that, especially once we hit gigabit networking and it was on every motherboard, it was kind of commoditized. I would say there's a big push now for 2.5G, 5G, 10 gigabit networks. All that stuff there's still a lot of room to grow for wired networking. But they always had a lot of interesting ideas and capabilities for what they could do, because they were uniquely positioned in that this is all they did. They only did networking in these things. And this is one of them, the wireless xTend, that says, hey, if you buy motherboards and they're going to have oftentimes 2, maybe more Ethernet ports on them, and then they're going to have wireless on them as well. It's kind of, if you're one of the people that hardwires your PC because you're a sane, reasonably accessible enthusiast, like all of us should be. We should all be hardwiring our PCs. Then what do you do with that wireless? Like, you paid for it. It's on the motherboard you bought. Maybe it's a $10 add-on or something like that to them. But why not turn that into a wireless access point for, your phones and your Xboxes and whatever else might be floating around in your room? I think it's a really good idea. I need to see it implemented. And I think there's a lot of potential. Well, we've seen issues in the past where wireless extenders, sometimes, like if your phone's on the edge, it won't actually move over to the node that's closer instead of sticking with the older one. And then, mesh networks kind of got that right for the most part, but this isn't technically a mesh network. I'm a little bit fuzzy on the technicality of what the difference is there. But if they could get it working correctly, like they say they are, then I think it's neat, right? It's a neat addition.
I like the idea. I am not, one, I don't have enough in the way of latency issues, and 2, I am not a talented enough gamer to really feel the difference on any of a number of the gaming-oriented routers, or the killer NICs. I like the idea of them. I've measured some latency drops, but for the most part, because I am right now, I'm a mile from one of the biggest colos on the West Coast. So I've got a really short path to some really big pipes to the gaming servers. So there's some of the stuff I try to test where there's just not a huge difference. DNS, actually, some of the DNS services don't work as well, or don't provide as much advantage here as they would if I lived 25 miles east or southeast of where I live. But I also got to say, I just want to amplify what Ryan said. If you're looking for the maximum in performance and the minimum integrated service on your networking, just run an Ethernet cable to it. That's one of the things that always blows my mind. The emails I get, because I'm doing some more testing of some new mesh networking stuff. And, especially when you're looking at Netgear's Orbi, for example, which has this unbelievably fast wireless backhaul. And now you can actually do Ethernet backhaul too. And it's incredibly fast. And then you run Ethernet, and it's incredibly faster in terms of the bandwidth it can carry and the speed you're moving at. So Ethernet never goes out, doesn't get screwed up by a microwave, doesn't slow down because, somebody in your house decided to move the router from the top of the bookshelf to underneath the bookshelf behind. It doesn't get, I just want to say that, it's Ethernet doesn't care about the plaster in your walls. It's
true.
Just want to lay that out there.